Hey guys, it's Melissa with Beauty by Nature, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make healthy tortilla shells using coconut oil. Okay, so what you're going to need is 3½ cups of flour. I'm using white wheat flour, which is freshly ground. Or you can just use wheat flour from the store. White wheat works best, but any will do. A little bit of olive oil spray for when you roll them out, a rolling pin. You're going to need 7 tablespoons of coconut oil, which is just a little under ½ of a cup. So I've just put roughly that much into a ½ cup. It doesn't really matter that much. Then you're going to need a teaspoon of salt and ½ teaspoon of baking powder, and then a cup of tap hot water. So go ahead and start by putting your flour into a good sized mixing bowl, adding your salt and your baking powder, and you can sift them in together if you want to be more thorough, or you can just mix it in like this. That works too. Just mix it enough that you know that the baking powder and the salt are dispersed in the flour. And then just like a pastry, you're going to take your coconut oil, and I like to put it in littler chunks so that when you're cutting it in it's easier. Just go ahead and drop pieces of the chunks of the coconut oil into the flour mixture like this. And I'm using extra virgin unrefined coconut oil, but if you don't like the smell of coconut oil, you can use all natural coconut oil from, I think Walmart has it, and it's refined so you can't smell it, but that isn't going to be as good for you. It's not as healthy when it's been refined. So I prefer to use the unrefined coconut oil. And as soon as you have all of that in there, get a pastry knife, or in this case, I'm actually using a potato smasher, but it works too. And then just go ahead and cut your coconut oil into your flour until there's just the chunks of the coconut are really small. Okay, once you've cut all of your coconut oil into your flour, just take your hot water and pour it in. Sometimes I don't pour all of it in at first, just to kind of see how moist it's going to end up. You can use a fork at this point, or just your hands. You'll eventually need to use your hands because you're going to knead it for 3 minutes as soon as you get it to clump together. Looks like I need all of my water this time. I might even need just a little bit more. At this point I would probably start using my hands so that I could get it to clump together nicely. It feels good and moist. And once it's all clumping together, knead it with your hands for 3 minutes. Once you're done kneading it, I like to take just a little bit of olive oil and spray it. And then just cover it with some plastic wrap so that it can set. I usually let it set for about 15 minutes so that the ingredients can kind of work in together. Covering it like this will prevent it from getting a hard, dried layer on the outside. And then go ahead and just let that set for 15 minutes. So once you've let your dough set for 15 minutes, go ahead and start frying. I've already got one on there, but what you're going to do is just take a good little, maybe about 1 ounce or 1.5 ounces of dough, and I ball it up and then I flatten it out a little bit. I spray the surface with a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm just going to go ahead and roll this out. You can just kind of see how much dough makes how big of a shell. I like a little bit smaller shells. So you're just going to go ahead and roll that out. And I like to keep things moving, so I keep one rolled out and one on there so that I can keep things going pretty quickly, and then just go ahead and go through all your dough. So I hope you guys liked this tutorial on how to make healthy tortilla shells. If you did, go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks guys!